Hey family, it's Tasha, Mama Bear Homestead. We are going to talk about finding your happiness, your satisfaction in homesteading. A lot of people have the dream of I want to have a homestead and I want to have land and animals and grow my own food and be self-sufficient and get solar power and not have to depend on the government and a lot of people in this country have that dream. They grow up having that dream of wanting to live that type of lifestyle, right? And I'm no different, right? I've always dreamed, it went from I wanted to always move to the mountains and just live in the mountains and live self-sufficiently. However, I never really voiced it as, oh, I want a homestead, right? I just knew that I was a prepper. I always prepared. I had these thoughts of different things I want to do for overall preparedness, right? Things that I'm preparing for. And I knew that once I retired from the military, I would be going to get some land in the mountains, that type of thing. Now, over the years, as I've prepared and as I've watched other channels, I'm like, yeah, homesteading, that's what it was. Okay. I just didn't really know the word for it, I guess you could say, in my younger age, right? And as I got older, I was like, yeah, homestead. And then it became dreaming of like, okay, I'm going to go to a different state. I'm going to buy all this land. I'm going to have this homestead, right? I'm going to have animals, all this stuff. And then that became, okay, well, we already have a home. We kind of like this location. Could we make this work? It's just so difficult. We prayed and we were looking for land other places, and we were being told to stay here. And that was kind of like a wall, like, well, how do we homestead here? Like, how does that fit the dream of what we wanted? And so I say all this to say, what you dream is not always reality or what will end up actually happening. Okay. And so it's just like when I talk on the prepping side about having grit and having flexibility and being able to adapt. It's no different, because when you finally take the leap and you're like, okay, we're ready to kind of move over to that homesteading side, the reality is not there. And I'm just going to kind of walk you through things you can do to help you stay satisfied and content with the dream. And as you roll into it, like we are doing, right? We finally retired. We finally got here. God was not telling us to leave. He was like, just stay here. And we were like, what? And so it's like, I started this channel and I was like, okay, I'm going to share on this channel all my awesomeness of my dreams and what I'm going to do. And we're going to have animals. We could still do this on a half acre. Just so much excitement. And I still have that, but I've shifted to a satisfying happiness, contentness of how that is actually unrolling, okay, and rolling out. Because I thought within a few months of us getting back, once we'd had, I knew we had to get here, unpack. I figured, okay, a couple months we'll unpack. Okay, then we're going to get our chickens. That's where we'll start. We'll go ahead and get the greenhouse too. And then I'll start this garden. And I knew I wasn't going to start hardcore with a garden, because as you guys know, I just started gardening last year, and I was in California, and it was a small patio garden. So not only was it much smaller scale, totally different climate, right? And so I knew it would be different and challenging. But as soon as we got here, we were challenged hardcore. One, the house was destroyed. We needed to totally do major fixes and maintenance to get it up to par to even be able to unpack. Then two, we started assessing bigger things that needed to be done in order to really start on the outside. I had dreams of starting that garden in a certain area. Well, that got scaled back. No, you're going to do it on this side patio. This is your area, Tasha, for gardening this year and to get started. It ended up as a blessing, because now it's a smaller scaled spot. It kind of baby steps me up a step bigger than last year, but not overwhelming. Okay. we need a new fence. So of course there's a whole fence line that, you need to have fence people be able to come and get to be able to rip out the old and put in the new. So you can't just be growing all this stuff and put a bunch of stuff, in their way, right? And so that kind of scaled me back. Then the whole septic, we are saving right now for a septic that's going to cost us, the design has it at 25, a little over 20K. But we've been paying every 2 weeks to have it pumped. Okay. So we're throwing heavy money right now at this septic until it's done in the next couple months. We should have the money in the next couple months and be able to do this. I will tell you though, that has shifted my whole garden stuff. I can't put a greenhouse now because that whole area is going to be dug up for this large system. It's an Oscar 3 system, so it's above ground. So that's going to change my dynamics for any kind of row gardening and big stuff in that area, right? There's another area because it's a half an acre, but you can't really do anything with that part now because they have to come in with all their gear and machinery, right, to get to the spot that they're going to go to, right? So there's a lot of setback. And there was at first a lot of disappointment, but then it became, I'm okay. I'm satisfied because one, this is a huge endeavor that will be done. Okay. It will be brand spanking new. It's taking us from gravity fed to pressurized. I'm very, very satisfied once that's done. And then once the fence is up, it's on and popping. And I'm okay with that. Then we can do chickens. Okay. So now the plan went from, we already wanted chickens to, hey, we're not going to have chickens till probably August now. So, it changes is what I'm saying. Your dreams and things that you want to do and you're excited to do, and you might even have the money. Like we thought, oh, we have the money. We're going to be able to come in and get a greenhouse right away. We're going to be able to get a chicken coop right away, build upon the chicken coop, do all these things. And that has quickly become, no, all our money goes towards poop these days. Okay. So reality can end up being a little bit different. But I would encourage you, the way I got here to satisfaction and kind of just going with the flow and adapting and being okay with that, being content with that, was planning, dreaming. Don't stop dreaming. Do not stop dreaming. Write it down. That's the biggest thing, is start writing down all the things that you want to do. Instead of just dreaming it, write it down, journal, right? Write out, your fantasy greenhouse, right? Research it, look for pictures, find where you're either going to purchase it from or make it from or whatever. Dream and plan and write that stuff down, okay? Reality is that not everything is up and running in the first month that you decide you're moving towards this idea of a homestead and living self-sufficient. That's not reality. That doesn't make sense. Okay. The average person doesn't have just cash flow to just throw at something like this. Okay. Next thing I have too is just prioritize your projects, right? Put them in order of what is important, because you can't do them all at once. And so what makes sense to you? I actually pray about which ones to do first, what to do. I just said a minute ago, I had all these plans to already have chickens and do this stuff. And now I'm like, okay, this other stuff has to go first. Okay, this is now when I plan to have chickens. Okay, I'm starting the garden. Do I necessarily need the greenhouse right now? No, but I will need it when I start doing my seeds and stuff for my cool weather crops. So again, I would like to have that up in a greenhouse up and running by September, so that I have that to get my cool weather crops going, and also keep any kind of tropical and other, magical plants that I feel like don't really grow here that I want to try. I'll have that greenhouse. So you have to adjust on what is happening, and you have to prioritize those projects and things you want to do, right? Hubby wants a gasifier so bad. He wants to make a gasifier. That's all he talks about. But priority, like what is priority? And again, all we're paying for right now is poop, baby. Poop, and more poop. And it is what it is. You just have to roll with the punches. We talk about it all the time, is if we can handle this big of a project, all the other projects are nothing, right? Mentally, if we can handle having to do this poop situation and everything we've had to deal with since we landed here and got here, and the money that we've spent and the time and effort that has been put in and the appointments and this and that and this and that, and then the actual septic system coming in and being redone and our whole electric panel being all redone. If we can handle all of that chaos mentally and financially, we will make it through any of these other projects that we have dreamed out. They're like chump change compared to this one that we're trying to handle right now. Okay. Somebody, a subscriber, forgive me, brother, I cannot remember who told me. A gentleman told me, hey, this is my advisement to you. My advisement to you is pick your project, pick what you're going to do, and do it very, very well. Execute the crap out of it, right? Spend all your energy on that one project and doing it the best, right? Do you not want to do something the way you dreamed it, right? You don't want to half-ass it. You want to dream this beautiful vision, right, of, let's say, a greenhouse, and you want to put that together. You don't want to just throw something up and be like, well, it gets hot, it will do the trick, and that's fine, and then you move on to the other thing. Or you're trying to do that, and you're trying to do the chicken coop, and you're trying to build this over here, and you're spending too much energy spread across all of these projects. And he was like, pick one and execute the crap out of it, right? And I love everything about that, okay? Because you put all your energy on that one thing, and then that thing is built and done with a beautiful energy, not a half-ass energy, not some energy like, well, I got it done, it's there, but you didn't do it, it's gonna fall down, whatever, it's not gonna last, or you're just not gonna like it, okay? I don't know about you, but I didn't dream about some ugly homestead. I dreamed about walking through gardens and food forests and having my chickens and having some solar and some power and slowly building up something that's for us to be self-sufficient. Little by little, every year getting a little, pulling away a little bit more in the ways that we could. And it was beautiful. It's not some, oh, I dreamed of just throwing up some chicken shack thing with some basic wood and just throwing up this greenhouse. And that's not what I was dreaming. I was dreaming of beautiful. So why not do that and do things one at a time? Okay. And the number one thing is, and this is what is the beauty of where my satisfaction and my real contentment comes from right now, is the fact that it takes time. This septic issue is forcing me to be patient. It's forcing me to realize that things happen that are out of my control, and that it doesn't all have to be done right now. Because of all this, I am truly concentrating all of my effort right now on the garden, right? All of my effort is the garden, executing the garden, researching the garden, putting certain plants in certain areas, understanding, bees and pollination, and just really, really getting to understand gardening and how things interact with each other and what things I can get to make that better. What fertilizer, what's the best this, what's the best that, how do I get my irrigation set up, all these things. Whereas if we weren't dealing with a septic, I would be doing that, but I would also be doing one or the other. We would be trying to figure out the chickens. That would be huge right now, would be the chickens, the coop, trying to build upon the coop, trying to learn about chickens, trying to do all that. And it would be a lot on top of what I already do every day. And it would have stretched me. I mean, stretched me thin. And it's relaxing to me to know I'm not stretched. I'm totally 100% concentrating on planter boxes and planting and potting and what can I plant in the ground where I'm at, what can't I, stuff I have in pots now, but long-term dreaming about where it will go. How will I expand it once the septic's done? How will I do the edging? Where will I put trees? So part of it is doing it and executing and still dreaming about that area, right? Because I'm so involved in it and concentrated on it, I'm still dreaming now of other parts of the property and plants and planting and trees and butterfly gardens and ponds, and I'm dreaming of all this stuff, and I will expand. And it has me in a very, very calm and humbling space, actually. The septic has done a lot of good things for me in regards to humbling me, giving me patience, practicing patience, and you know, it's a relaxed setting instead of, which is what I dreamed about, instead of chaotic and me doing 3 or 4 projects at a time. Okay. And hubby's working now. So now, you know, he went back to work and he's enjoying himself, and I'm here and I'm trying to find myself, but I'm actually very calm because I'm concentrating on this stuff that I'm concentrating on right now. It's this one thing, and I just want to execute it like my subscriber shared with me. You know, that was the one thing that he kind of took away from homesteading and what he learned. And he was like, one thing at a time, breathe, and really kill the game in that one project that you're doing before you move on to the next or the next or the next. You know, it takes time. It takes time. And when I say time, months, years, okay? Don't freak out. If this is even, depending on where you're at, if you're in the dream stage, then dream, baby, and write it down. And if you're at the very, very beginning stage like this, and you're hitting those reality walls of like, okay, this is a lot, you know, I don't know if I can even do this. It's okay. Just breathe and work through it and roll with the punches, and just know, prioritize what you want to do and get those things done. I watch some channels that I'm like, I don't know how they do it. Okay. That could be me, but clearly later. You know what I'm saying? So dream and watch those people and learn and really, really enjoy it, because that's the essence of homesteading, is being happy and satisfied with your everyday life. You know, living, you know, and to be self-reliant and not having to depend on people. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my babble, kind of an update of what's going on with us, where I'm at, how I'm feeling about homesteading, what I've done and what I'm doing to stay in that area of contentment, you know, in this homesteading adventure, basically. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.